Good afternoon. Our talk is before lunch, but we'll try to be very brief so we don't get late with the lunch time. So we are here to present some novelty about TIC providers survey. We'd like to highlight that the production of statistics within NIC.br is being conducted since 2005, where CETIC provides updated, strict information about access and use of internet in Brazil. CETIC started producing statistics since 2005, where we have TIC homes and TIC companies, TIC households. The TICs are the ITCs, right? In Portuguese, we call them TICs, TICs. How is the access provider niche in the country? What are the main services, infrastructure? And that research is done every 3 years, and now we are disclosing results about the previous year. So at the cetic.br web page, you may get access to our researches, all of them based on international measurement standards, and we are always try to provide that information not only to the sectors but to the government and to NIC.br to better design public policies. Marcelo is in charge for statistics. What is the methodology behind that? And then Leonardo will make some presentations about data. They have been published for the first time, and they are at our website for everyone's access. One representative from any provider company is interviewed, and there are those who probably answered the interview. That is not possible to do that without the participation of the sector. No companies are identified. They are all confidential, and they are used so you can map the sector. I also would like to thank IBOP Intelligence. They are responsible for collecting data in the field, and our group of experts on behalf of Milton. I will now give the floor to Marcelo, who will tell us how that is done. I am the statistician. The goal is to collect characteristics of provider companies. We started from those companies who are registered, and they offer services of communication and multimedia. We got the base of June 2017. We estimate a total of 6,600 internet providers all over the country. And we had divided that base in two settings. One, it has to do with those companies that should declare accesses between January and May 2017. For those companies, we had a very long, detailed questionnaire. A total of over 3,000 providers, and over 2,000 of them answered the whole questionnaire. I'd like to thank them. During that process, we have to thank to those who answered. We have resources. Many people just abandon the research. Some people, they want to do that again, and the quality of data in our case is very good, 70%, but we always try to improve that rate. So the idea is to reinforce with you providers to answer that, because they are done to help you to improve your conditions to work in this country. 3,000 providers who declared access between January and May last year. In 2011 and 2014, that was done just by a telephone interview, but this year, those who would like to answer online could do that as well. We have lots of information in our website if you feel like getting more. So I'd like to thank those responders and to thank those who were engaged. That was a research that was debated at several forums. Population, the Brazilian, our population was aware of that, and that was so important to us. Who are those providers? Who are those over 3,000 providers? 3,091 to be precise. So I will approach some aspects regarding technology, and that is the scenario for regional internet in Brazil and challenges. 88% of companies, they are small companies. 39% of them have from 1 to 9 people involved. From Access report, 75% of companies, they have up to 1,000 accesses, 25% less than 100, 29 from between 300 and less than 1,000. That is a regional market of small companies at local markets. Here we have a regional distribution of providers by region. In blue, we have micro companies. In orange, small companies. And the greater population of small and micro companies are reflected here if they would choose for the simplest. That's very typical for Brazil. It's useless trying to explain to you what the simplest is. It's a taxation form. And there are some advantages or some challenges if you decide to become a company which is simplest. We asked if companies had their own website, and 90% of them said yes, we have our own website. TIC empresas, ITC companies, which is a survey or a research conducted with several companies from the Brazilian economy, where 55% of them have a website. And here we are talking about micro and small size companies. 23% of them said they have a website. So the website represents a qualification of those companies, which is not disseminated along other companies. 80% of them said that they have a profile or their own account, and how much those companies they make use of that close communication to clients, especially when we see what are the most used social networks. And that is a piece of data which is parallel to other ones. We also asked providers what are their most sold speeds. 12 Mbps, 15, 18, and 16% of companies, with most of them saying that 5 is the most sold velocity. And by region, the cycle Mbps, it's in the northeast companies and the south ones with 20 and 25%, and 10 Mbps is exclusively for the southeast. We also asked about the type of technology offered to the client. Wireless access is dominant, but we have to talk about optical fibers. Optical fibers is close to customers' house, where 48% of them said that offering optical fiber, and that proportion now goes to 78%. Optical fiber per region, where we have a percentage growth of 30 points by all regions. Well, that is a growth that is pushed by small companies, and that is quite predominant, and it becomes the principal part. About autonomous ownership system, 70% of companies said that they had an autonomous system, and today 77%. Here we have a different debate. The reason why there is autonomous or there isn't autonomous services and the cost of service and so on, they are seen as the main things, the main reason why they do not have an autonomous system. So 77% of ownership, that is a high percentage, but investment costs, they still affect some companies. PTT and IX participation, 42% of providers, they said yes, they participate at a PTT. In 2014, 27% of companies, they stated to participate at some type of PTT. In 2017, we changed that question and we included IX as well. But that is a growth trend. When we ask the companies why they do not participate, the high cost to contract a transportation infrastructure affects it, and lack of availability of the service of the region are the main reasons why they do not do it. 50% of some companies in one of the regions of Brazil said that the high cost to contract a transport infrastructure is a way to prevent them to participate at PTT. Availability of IPv4, IPv6, IPv4 valid offered by 86% of all companies, IPv6 30%, and then regional distribution IPv6, which is being offered by 1/3 of the companies. And we have to check in the next slide the reason why it's so difficult to activate IPv6 and why they stopped offering that to clients, and to start planning for IPv6 transition. This is the reason why they do not want to have that. Lack of skilled people or proper tools or equipments. In the northern region, 40% of the companies said there is a lack of skilled people. That is still related to what we were saying before, maintenance of teams. And Northeast, 40% of companies, they said about lack of equipments for IPv6 activation. My last slide, security. We asked companies if they suffered any type of steel, cables, wires, and 40% of companies said yes. 57% of companies in the Northeast said they suffer some type of robbery, and 79% said that yes, they do. We have more data than that. You may find the tables at the sites, at the website. Well, we are open for discussion. Thank you. All data have been published already. That data is being used by the government in the public policies. So I'd like to thank the group who advises that. We have MCT, KRNP representatives, and Anatel. Any questions before lunch? We have discussed about that research before this event. Number of access that was used to classify the size of the companies. That data seems to have small numbers. And after our meeting, we had a few talks with providers. And in fact, numbers are much, much bigger. So the home take message is, It's important that providers would register properly number of access to have a real vision about the size of the market, number of people that are addressed by providers. What we get at the official base of Anatel does not reflect our reality, and it depends on the community of providers to do something about that. Well, we searched that sector since 2011, and we see a great improvement. The information we got in 2011 was not so qualified as the one we have today. We can just have this type of statistics with the official registries, and that will impact how much we can go deep with that. And as Leo said, we are not even able to present 10% of what is available. So you are all invited to visit the website, and we hope we can present those results somewhere else. That's it, right? We are all hungry. Let's go. Thank you so much. See you later.